This meeting is called to order in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act. This meeting was included in a list of meeting dates sent to the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and the Highland Park Planet on January 4th, 2017, and was posted on the bulletin board of Borough Hall, 221 South Fifth Avenue on January 4th, 2017, and has remained continuously posted as required by law. Fire exits are to my left and to my right. If you come up to speak, please speak into the microphones. Assistive listening devices are available. Okay. Lieutenant Hamill, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Brill Mittler,
Here.
Councilman Fine,
Here.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin.
Here.
Councilman George.
Here.
Councilman Hirsch.
Here.
Councilwoman Welkowitz.
Here.
Borough Administrator.
Here.
Borough Attorney.
Here.
Okay. May I have a motion to adopt or reject the resolution to appoint a new council member?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Roll call, please.
We have to name the council person.
Oh, the new council person will be Stephanie Kim. May I have a roll call vote?
Councilman Fine,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin.
Yes.
Councilman George.
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch.
Yes.
Councilwoman Welkowitz.
Yes. Welcome, Stephanie.
Can you hold the Bible for her? Oh. Keith, okay. Never mind. Are you going to help too?
Get up closer.
I, Stephanie Kim,
I, Stephanie Kim,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially and justly
that I will faithfully and impartially and justly
perform all the duties of the office of councilperson
perform all the duties of the office of councilperson
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. May I have a resolution to amend resolution number 11703 regarding standing committees? Motion to adopt or reject?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foster Dublin. Councilman George.
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch.
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim.
Abstain.
Councilwoman Welkowitz.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we're going to move on to council reports. Councilman Fine, would you start us off this evening?
I do not have a report, Madam Mayor, this evening. Thank you.
Okay. Councilwoman Kim, we're going to skip you right now. Councilman George?
Yes, Your Honor. Due to the lateness of the hour, I'll waive my report except to say that the sculpture project is moving forward. I've been in communication with the county, and the Rutgers is arranged for the utility markouts for the section that we want to use in Johnson's Park. I see the Environmental Commission is here, and we'll talk a little bit further about location. Rutgers is doing the pouring of the bases and installing them themselves. They got the crane, so we're rocking and rolling on the sculptures.
Very good, thank you. Councilman Hirsch?
I'll just keep to one very important point. The Highland Park Housing Authority will meet tomorrow at 6:30 at the Carmen Apartments right next door. And I just wanted to report one very exciting piece of news that we've been working on for several years now. We have found an investor for our 24 family units on South 6 to help with essential capital needs. So we no longer get that type of funding from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. So now HUD, and this was also under the previous administration, encourages public housing authorities to work with outside investors to do necessary capital improvements. So we have partnered with the Community Loan Fund of New Jersey, which is housed out of New Brunswick under a CDFI called New Jersey Community Capital. They're not just an everyday bank, they're a mission-based neighborhood stabilization, community development financial institution. They believe in the mission of providing safe, decent, affordable housing. The stewardship of the housing is still public, still under the it's still under the appointed members of the Housing Authority and under the management of the Highland Park Housing Authority as well. And just it's not an ideal situation, but we are thrilled to have partnered with this important group that does some really meaningful neighborhood stabilization work around the state. Thank you.
Thank you. Council President Welkowitz?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a few things. Our new Safe Walking and Cycling Committee meets the first Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. here in Borough Hall. There'll be a meeting tomorrow. And the important thing that we're going to discuss at that meeting is that we're very fortunate to be partnering with Rutgers in a bicycle share program. They were awarded a $1.1 million grant from the from the New Jersey Department of Transportation. And Jack Molinar, who works for Rutgers Transportation, is very eager, and we have a very eager time frame as well. He expects the entire program to be in place by spring of next year. The bike share, I believe they'll have about 350 bicycles and about 35 different hubs, the hubs being like a bike rack. However, the really neat thing about this, unlike, say, New York City's city bikes, each bicycle will have a GPS system built into it. So you can drop the bicycle off anywhere you'd like. It's got a built-in lock as well. You might pay a little bit more for that if you don't return it to a hub, but it's going to be very easy, and you can use your smartphone app to locate where the nearest bicycle is for you, and a simple credit card swipe. And so we're really eager for this to get started. The other important thing that we realized that with GPS on these bicycles, we'll actually be able to get some data on where people are riding around town and hopefully use that to maybe create some bicycle lanes.
Yeah.
So that's a really big deal, and we're delighted. We've been working on this for 2 years.
Right.
So it's a very big deal.
And the bicycle racks, they'll be giving us some bicycle racks, and they're working with us to determine where to put them, and they'll have some open public meetings here in Highland Park to get resident input on that as well.
Right, and I think some of the other meetings, there's going to be one at the Edison train
Right.
station and another one in Piscataway, so they're really trying to make this a network, so we're very excited. And also, tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock, our two Main Street meetings, two Main Street committees, the Organization Committee and the Promotions Committee will be meeting. And because it's Main Street, they get to meet at Pino's at 6 p.m. And they're going to be discussing the Music on the Corner program, which was extremely successful the past couple years. And if any musicians want to sign up for that, it's volunteer. But from that, we've heard a lot of the volunteers in the past have gone on to get paid gigs in the future. So if you'd like to volunteer to perform some music on the corner one of those nights, please sign up at Pino's or contact me or Main Street. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Borough Administrator, do you have a report?
No report, Mayor.
Okay, Borough Attorney, do you have a report?
No report, Madam Mayor.
Okay, I just have a couple of quick things. First, we all know that there was a horrendous crime committed here in Highland Park a few weeks ago. I want to publicly thank our police department, who worked so hard assisting the prosecutor's office in finding the accused in just a week's time. You all were amazing. I know you increased also the patrols during the period of time, and you were a constant presence here in Highland Park. So Lieutenant Hamill, if you would please share our thanks with all of the folks across the street in the police department, we would appreciate it, and thank you. Along those lines, we had a very wonderful public safety meeting the other day that Councilman Hirsch joined me at. We had a representative from Women Aware come to talk with us about how you might be able to report any concerns for sexual assault or abuse, primarily with an intimate partner. And we had Officer Corbello share some tips on how to stay safe when you're going about town. And additionally, Freeholder Shanti Nara showed up, and she shared some tips with us as well. There was a nice turnout for that, and we will probably be having additional public safety meetings in the future. Some people have mentioned to me that there have been some street signs that have been missing, particularly Vicky White's Way and Rosa Parks Way. I just want everyone to know that the signs have been ordered to replace them, and they will be going up shortly. And I would be remiss if I didn't say this is Women's History Month, and in remembering Women's History Month, what I'll be doing every week this month is introducing you to a historic woman from Highland Park who contributed to the growth of our town and also our country. And tonight, I'd like to introduce you to Joan Snyder. She's not here. Joan grew up in Highland Park. She currently lives in New York, but her paintings can be found in museums and collections all over the country. She also was given the MacArthur Fellow, the Guggenheim Fellow, and the National Endowment of the Arts Fellow. So thank you to Ms. Joan Snyder, and stay tuned for the names of other very heroic, historic, and successful women from Highland Park. Okay, this is our first segment of public discussion. If you have something you would like to say, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address. Yes, please.
Good evening, Mike.
You may want to take it off there and hold it close to you.
It's like
yes,
karaoke.
thank you.
It's like karaoke. My
Would
name's
you like
Craig.
to sing?
Michael rode the boat ashore. My name is Craig Hannock. I live at 227 Montgomery Street here in Highland Park. I'd like to say a few words about the resolution that was discussed last week about Highland Park becoming a sanctuary city. But before I do, I have a statement that I'd like to read that was sent to me by email today. This is a statement was dated today. To the esteemed members of the Highland Park Borough Council, I deeply regret that my schedule does not permit me to be present in person this evening. My name is Rabbi Ronald Schwartzberg, and I reside at 15 Johnson Street in Highland Park. I am the Rabbi Emeritus of Congregation Avis Achim on First Avenue. I speak on my own behalf as a citizen of our great country and as a resident of our community since 1986. I am the son of a Holocaust survivor. My father came to these shores as an immigrant after years in labor camps and death camps at the hands of the Nazis. The United States of America's greatness stems from its diversity and its openness to be a place of refuge for asylum seekers and those running from war and persecution. Myself and my siblings have been teachers and business people contributing to our families, communities, and our country precisely because this country gave us a chance to live far from persecution. The United States gave us the ability to become educated, productive members of our society. I am supportive of safe and reasonable policies concerning our borders. I am opposed to the blanket closing of our borders to law-abiding good citizens of the world, no matter what country they come from. I therefore support the symbolism in Highland Park becoming a sanctuary city.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please give our regards to Rabbi Schwartzberg. And we have Councilman Matt Hirsch is the liaison to our task force on immigration and refugees. And we're going to be having an open public meeting to discuss this situation and how it relates to Highland Park on the 14th, Matt?
Next Tuesday, March 14th at 7, right here at the Senior Center.
So please come.
Thank you. Is that a polite way of saying that I should save my comments for next week?
No.
Oh, no.
Expand on them, or
If I may, just in case I
learn more?
can't get out of the office in time to come back from the city, I would like to just share also an observation or a thought or two of my own as well. Not that I can speak as eloquently or powerfully as Rabbi Schwartzberg, but I would like to add just a thought or two for you. My own grandparents came to this country between the two wars. And had it not been for places like Highland Park, they settled in Philadelphia, coming from Russia and from Poland. Had it not been for places such as Highland Park providing sanctuary, they would have also perished in the Holocaust. I work at the UN, and in recent trips to Entebbe in Uganda, since the election, I've been there 3 times actually since the election, colleagues from around the world have shared with me their concern about what's happening in the country today. One after another have asked, what is happening to America? And it's been very hard to respond to them. But at the same time, they see the demonstrations in cities and around the country. They hear about resolutions such as this. And colleagues from Iran, Lebanon, Iraq, the Congo, Uganda, Liberia, colleagues from around the world have shared with me over and over again how meaningful it has been to see towns such as ours step forward and speak to what made America truly great in the past. So I would ask all of us to consider that, and also to consider our own history. After the war, Highland Park was one of the few places in New Jersey to open its doors to the Jews. When the Civil Rights Act was passed a little over 50 years ago, 150 towns in New Jersey forbade the sale of property to Jews and to blacks. 150 towns. Think about that. I worked in one of them in Westfield years ago. I met the first family that settled there in the 60s after it was finally legal to buy property. This town has always had a different heritage. This town always welcomed people from diverse backgrounds, even without checking to see whether their citizenship papers and their documents were in good order. This town has always had a history of being open. And in the face of the fears that we see around this country and that have troubled my colleagues from around the world, I would urge you to live up to that same tradition that Highland Park has always had and approve this resolution to designate Highland Park a sanctuary city. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Herb Gross, Adelaide Gardens. At the previous meeting, Madam Mayor, I brought out the question of the button on the pole on Fifth Avenue, and I am pleased to announce that the button has been fixed. I've been watching quite a few women crossing Raritan Avenue with their babies, and it's a pleasure to watch that the women that are wheeling their babies across Raritan Avenue and Fifth Avenue, they feel more safe. I've been watching the children, and you can do the same thing. I've been watching the children cross the street. They feel more safe, and we as their parents, we feel more safe that the children will not be run down by some hit-and-run driver. And I will pursue, as I mentioned at the previous meeting, I will pursue what they have in New Brunswick, voice-activated for pedestrians to cross the street. This is surely needed in Highland Park, and I will pursue this. And Madam Mayor, you, as the mayor, you should pursue this with the state to bring down their officials, to put this voice-activated unit in the poles here in Highland Park to safeguard handicapped people, women wheeling their babies, and the school children.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gross. As I mentioned last time, we have been talking with the Department of Transportation about all kinds of safety features, including that. So thank you. Okay. Any other public discussion at this point? All right. Clerk, would you report on advertising the Housing Authority Ordinance Amendment for consideration of passage on final reading by title?
An ordinance amending the Code of the Borough of Highland Park, Chapter 85, Affordable Housing, was duly advertised for consideration of passage on final reading by title, and affidavits of publication are on file. The ordinance was posted and made available for public inspection as required by law.
Okay, may I have a motion to take up the ordinance on final reading by title?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any public hearing on this? Okay. May I have a motion to adopt or reject and advertise the ordinance on final reading by title?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Councilman Fine,
Yes.
Councilman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch.
Just wanted to point out that this actually adds, we were just talking about the Housing Authority, that this adds one resident member to the Housing Authority. That means somebody who is either a voucher recipient or a resident of our public housing here in Highland Park. So the stewardship is even more, is even more closer to home with this. So absolutely yes.
Councilwoman Kim,
Abstain.
Councilwoman Welkowitz.
Yes.
Okay. Clerk, would you report on introduction of the capital ordinance improvements to Grant Avenue, Felton Avenue, and Graham Street for consideration of passage on first reading by title?
Capital ordinance providing for improvements to Grant Avenue, Felton Avenue, and Grand Street in the Borough of Highland Park, County of Middlesex, appropriating $400,000, has been duly introduced by the Public Works and Public Utilities Committee for consideration and passage on first reading by title.
May I have a motion to adopt or reject and advertise the ordinance on first reading by title?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine,
Yes.
Councilman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim,
Abstain.
Councilwoman Welkowitz.
I just wanted to add that this is grant money that we received from the New Jersey Department of Transportation. Yes.
Okay. Clerk, would you report on introduction of cap rate exception ordinance for consideration of passage on first reading by title?
Calendar year ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank has been introduced in writing by the Finance Committee for consideration of passage on first reading by title.
May I have a motion to adopt or reject and advertise the ordinance on first reading by title?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine,
Yes.
Councilman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim,
Abstain.
Councilwoman Welkowitz.
Yes.
Okay, clerk, would you report on introduction of the 2017 municipal budget and tax resolution for consideration of passage on first reading by title?
A hearing on the budget and tax resolution will be held at Borough Hall on April 4th, 2017 at 7:00 p.m., at which time and place objections to said budget for the year 2017 may be presented by taxpayers or other interested persons. I don't have to read all that. I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
May I have a motion to adopt or reject the 2017 municipal budget on first reading by title?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine,
Yes.
Councilman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim,
Abstain.
Councilwoman Welkowitz.
Yes.
Okay. May I have a motion to adopt or reject the resolution to approve budget transfers?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine,
Yes.
Councilman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim,
Abstain.
Councilwoman Welkowitz.
Yes.
Okay. May I have a motion on the consent agenda to adopt the following items: 317-109, 317-110, and 317-111?
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Fine,
Yes.
Councilman George,
Yes.
Councilman Hirsch,
Yes.
Councilwoman Kim,
Abstain.
Councilwoman Welkowitz.
Yes.
Okay. We're moving into our second public discussion period. Is there any public discussion? Okay, seeing none, may I have a motion to adjourn to executive session for legal matters?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.